All right, we got 2 tables going here. We've taken a few days off. Haven't played in a few days. It's been busy. My birthday passed. Happy birthday to me. And yeah, and our season started up for work. So haven't had as much time to play as I was over the December, January, early January months. But again, we're going to be trying to release content daily and semi bi-weekly perhaps, if not daily, but we're going to be trying to stick with it. And yeah, so we got 2 tables up right now. Stars is so hard to get multiple tables up. Really annoying. It's their bum hunting clause. Helps avoid bum hunters, they call them. If you don't know what a bum hunter is, it is a professional poker player who basically sits at a table only when a weak player sits down and leaves after the weak player leaves. They basically all, like, if a weak player sits down at a table, you'll just see, like, bam, like 6 seats fill up with all, like, the sharks, if you will. And like the second that player loses their stack and like leaves the table, the rest of everybody else leaves too. The game basically breaks. So the game's operating around that specific person. And that is also known as bum hunting and frowned upon. Yet that's part of how poker players make a professional living. And Stars has implemented a system to stop that from happening. But they've also counterproductively implemented a system with a shot clock that makes you not have to wait as long in between decisions, which I don't think invites weak players in to come play, because now they can't really take their time to think about a decision, which if you're a weak player, probably don't know things and can't come to answers as quickly as a good player. So I know that it's more friendly towards people who don't want to wait there all day for a hand, but another reason why you're scaring away recreational players, Pokerstars and whatever other websites have implemented that shot clock. But that is neither here nor there. What do I know? Anyway, I've only been playing for 15 plus years. Right? I don't have an ROI win rate of 32 big blinds per 100, so I can't say anything. Shut up. I'm just going to flat here King Queen offsuit versus Crazy Ken. He's a super nit. Probably one of the biggest nits that exists at the Pokerstars player pool. Not to take anything away from him, but like as far as how good a player he is or whatever, he's a good player, but he ain't exactly balanced in the realm of bluffing, if you will. It's not like he's bluffing as often as he's value betting. Hey, he's super pro. I think we try to make this one look like a bluff. We can come in for an overbet here too, but I don't want like 2 pair to fold. I want 2 pair to like call. So I'm just gonna pot it. And I think he's gonna have a lot of kings in his range too, like pocket kings, for example, that may have called one and then checked back, or checked back and then called one. But I think he'd raise that obviously here. We're never folding. We chop. But I think he can have a lot of kings. He can have ace king. You have king 10. And probably just 2 pair, I'm assuming. Nope, just 1 pair. Just 1 pair. And be interesting. Did he check back that flop? I can't remember what happened. Let's see. Did he check back that flop? Check. He did. So he checked back this flop with a weak kicker and an ace, which shows that he is balancing his ace high bets in this spot, so we can't exploit him down the road, right? I'd check back there as well with a lot of weaker aces. I mean, we're gonna have better aces, and we're gonna have some 2 pairs and some flop straights some of the time. And anything that I missed that flop with, like an under pair or a bottom pair, is probably not calling a bet anyway. Therefore, he checks to try to induce some kind of bluffs out of us on the turn, which he did. We bet with our weaker pair, if you will, with a straight draw. So his play was good there. And then again to pick off a bluff on the river, which is why you see why he called our river bet, because that's why he checked flop, to induce bluffing hands to bluff, which is why he made that like call down there on the river, because he was all part of his plan, if you will. And here, I think we can go for a check. I don't think much worse is calling us, so like it's hard for him to have a weaker king. And he might call us with some ace highs, but ace highs might also bet. And ace highs may call here, but now at least tens will call, right? Queen jack will call, tens will call, ace jack might call, stuff like that. So now we bet. Mm-hmm. I don't know how long I'm going to go with this video. I'm just going to kind of play till I don't want to play anymore. And I don't want to talk to you guys anymore. So we'll see. Maybe that'll be 6 hours from now. Some people are saying I should stream and jump on Twitch and stuff. I've gotten a lot of that. It's so annoying to have to learn how to use the Twitch platform. And I've done it once before. I just can't remember. It was so long ago. And I don't feel like doing it again, learning how to reuse it all again. And like, I don't know. I'm kind of going for a more casual approach to the growing of this channel, and however long it may take, and all that good stuff. So I don't know. Maybe we should Twitch, maybe we shouldn't, because then you got to figure out how to do the what's it called there, the stream delay, so people can't pick your stream off. They call stream sniping. They can't stream snipe you. I'm pretty sure that's done through OBS somehow, but then I've got to watch some YouTube videos on how to do it, and that just takes time. And I got kids, as you can hear, in the background, and I don't have that kind of time or that kind of patience. Barely these days, barely have either of the two. Ain't that right, babe?
You have a little bit of time to watch a TikTok. I mean, not a full YouTube video. You can watch a TikTok.
She argues that I have time, but she definitely doesn't argue that I don't have patience. So that was not part of the argument. Yeah, I might. I'll think about it.
60 seconds.
True. Easy through. I'm trying to get another table open for you guys so we can give you a little bit more action and deal some excitement. Even after our speech of Crazy Cam being a super nit, we 3-bet him with ace-10 offsuit on the button. Why? Why? Because fuck this guy. That's why. That's why. We win. We win. Crazy can again. I'm just going to complete here with sixes. It's a little too weak to be 3-betting out of position. It's not a great flop. Gonna call one. There's still a lot we're ahead of, right? There's a lot we're behind too, but we can't just fold right away here. I mean, probably calling two on this card. Getting expensive. Checks back. Now we lose to a lot. Now we lose to a lot, unfortunately. We lose to like anything with a 10 in it, basically. There's just a lot of hands, like 9, 10, Jack 10, Ace 10, King 10. He's going to check back any 10 he hits too. So if he bets, I'll be inclined to call because we really only lose like Jack 9 suited or something. Possibly pocket 10s. The fact that he bets here now, I'm inclined to call. I suppose it could be a check back Queen Jack or something too. But I'm going to look him up. A check back Ace Queen. Like that's how tight this guy is. He checked back Ace Queen on that turn. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that's right. I don't think you're supposed to check back top pair, top kicker there on that turn. But I could be wrong. Anyway, he's a nit, in my opinion. And I am paying him with his own monies. Sienna, what's Daddy playing? Poker, good. Daddy's playing poker, very good.
Daddy's playing poker.
Very good. You hear that? You hear that? She knows. She's smart. That's my daughter. 2.5 months old. That's right. She's speaking at 2.5 months. I'm just kidding. She's 2.5 years old. My wife jumping in to correct me because God forbid I don't make a spelling mistake on purpose, mind you.
You know what? You do it all the time.
I do.
Like you
Yeah.
actually wouldn't realize you said fun.
I know what I said on purpose. I'm trying to convince everyone here that she's a genius, which she is. Right? Because that was the next argument coming after. Right, babe?
Yeah.
I know, see? She is a genius. Don't say that. She is one. I know. I can have these combos with myself at this point, babe. Because I like having you around, alright? I like having you around. Lucky us. Check back here. We could bet. But I mean, I'd rather mix it up here with Crazy Can. Like we can come out with an overbet on this turn. We still have decent equity. Like the thing is, when we come out with an overbet here on this turn, instead of betting the flop, is he may now be inclined to fold spades that are better than ours, like Queen of, or King of Spades. Those may not want to chase now. Probably the only spade that would chase here is the Ace of Spades, and even that may not chase us because he's not really getting rid of that could reverse implied odds. Essentially, he's got to hit a spade or he loses, and then like when he does hit the spade, like how often is he getting paid on that spade? Probably not very often. So I like to mix it up there. We're like betting 1/3 small on the flop on a monotone board, and then like checking back some of the time to protect the times that I have nothing and no spade, and then coming in for an overbet. And I feel like Queen Jack there with a medium spade is a good candidate to do that with. Pocket Kings. Pocket Kings. Classic. Everyone just folds to us when we've got kings and aces on the big blind. Just a rerun. I've seen this one way too many times. When this happens, when things are going this way, if you've been playing poker long enough, and you should know, because I guarantee you've been here, that's your first sign to just get the hell off. Stop playing. Right? So, I'm trying to not ignore the signs that they send me anymore, and I'm trying to, be a little more intuitive in that sense. So for that reason, I will only run this video for another 7 minutes for a good round hole number of a 20-minute video. And then we will listen to our spirit guides who are telling us that this ain't it. This ain't the session that's going to work out for us. And, I can't really explain it, but I know you guys know what I'm talking about, some of you out there. And then you got your calculators that are like, you should not pay attention to this, and that. Like, I know what you're going to say. I know what you're thinking. You're wrong. I'm right. You're wrong. All right, we're going to go fourth. We got 3 tables going now. We will drag this over. I'm going to 3/4 pot here. Got backdoor nutter draws to the clubs and to the straight. Folding here with the King 5 versus a green label because he's just not going to be balanced enough to be bluffing here with anything, really. All right, we got 4 tables going for the next 7 minutes only. And we've got to just adjust this camera here. Just go right in the middle here like this. Yeah. That's cool. I think we go small here now to kind of make it look like we have a 6, and we can still call a raise, right? That's the fun part. We can still call a raise because we're drawing to the super mega nutters, and like a jack falling would just be like would put him in a gut, like in a whole world of hurt. And I mean, we probably have the best straight now. I mean, if he was calling with a 10, it would have to be a 10 with 2 hearts in it. And like, I don't know why you'd call out of position with a 10. I mean, we did bet small enough, so maybe, but also he's not going to be getting very many reverse implied odds when he hits that straight. So it's just hard to put him on that. For that reason, I'm going to bet super small again. I'm going to try to target 2 pair. I'm just going to try to target the fact that there's a straight on board and I want him to call. And he calls and we ship. And let's see what he had, shall we? 9-5, 2 pair. Send it. So, we win that pot either way. If we check back turn, we get there and we win either way, right? But it's just like playing out of position, you know, for that reason, very difficult, right? Because even if he like donk bets into that on that turn, like we're probably calling and maybe even raising. Like how many sixes are doing that? And like should 9-5 be doing that two pair? Probably not. So you just become a victim of the run out, right? You become a victim of the run out too often. Let's see. I don't know about this middle of my head placement, but it seems to be working so far. We do block out one of the players on each table, these two tables here. So maybe we will. Maybe we will. I'm going to fold that Glam Dragons and Knit as well. Here we go. Problem solved. Problem solved. Look at that. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. It's kind of bothering me. My deep down OCD is kicking in. Buried deep down there. It's kind of bothering the hell out of me, to be honest. But we'll play it for a bit. We will play it for a bit. Maybe this here. Maybe this will not bother me. This is still bothering me, actually, but I'm gonna try it. Ew, that bothers me. That this whole thing right here, this whole thing happening right here with my head in the middle, is bothering the hell out of me. But whatever, just gotta get through this video. All right, just gotta get through this. Just gotta get through this. Yeah, we got Toy Story playing in the background for all you OGs out there. Man, I gotta do something. I gotta do something about this camera thing. I thought I was gonna be okay with it. I'm not. I'm not. Not even a little bit okay with it. Let's try this. Let's try this. Oh no. Here we go. No! Here we go. Is this better? It all sucks. All of it. Should probably just get rid of my head. How about that? It's all horrible. I don't know what I'm doing. Ace King, bottom right. Like, there aren't very many weak players left in these games. Like, don't get me wrong, they come, they go. But for the most part, they're just dominated by strong players online. It's too bad. It's too bad. Because they've done this to themselves. I could 4-bet Rip here with Ace King. He didn't really bet that big. Problem is, if I 4-bet and he calls, like with any type of pair, we're in a world of hurt. So I'd rather just rip here and just flip versus queens and under, basically. There you go. He wins the first run out. Ace. And he wins the second run out because we don't win flips. We don't win flips in this town 50% of the time, like most people do. In fact, we only win flips about 10 to 15% of the time, to be honest. And it's been that way for, I want to say, 2.5, 3 years now. You know, just don't even get me started. Anyway, we lose 200 there. And back to our signs of the pocket kings folding to the big blind earlier, where we should have gotten off. Here we are. Here we are. By the way, queens is a dicey call. Not dicey. I mean, you are flipping. You got to know you're flipping, bro. You're either flipping or you're dominated. I don't know if I'm doing that with jacks. Right? You know, I might do it with ace queen suited. Probably not. I have done it in the past. It's a very rare circumstance. But more likely than not, you're flipping. Just a miracle that you managed to fade an ace or a king over the course of 10 cards when I haven't been able to fade an ace or a king once, actually, over the course of, as far as my memory goes back, in a similar spot. But who cares, right? It's just money. It's just money. All right, we got an overpair. We don't have a 10 of hearts, which is kind of meh. There's two players. I'm going to actually, this is very rare. I'm going to come for an overbet here. I think both of their ranges are going to consist of hands that have some top pairs and two pairs in them, but I also think they're going to have a lot of straight draws and flush draws. And if I bet small, I end up pricing kind of both of them in. I'd rather just target like a top pair. that has to call one street, and like a strong drawy type hand, like 2 hearts and a gutter, or just a flush draw with an over, for example. So, and again, I'm not doing that every time, but I like to mix it in sometimes, just based on opponents' ranges. Like those two guys were in the blinds, small blind, big blind, so they're gonna have somewhat close to a range on that board. And also my hand's super vulnerable. Like I have a pair of tens, so any overcard that comes, any heart that comes, any kind of straight card that comes, I may not have the best hand anymore. I'd rather just bet their big, win it, or make sure that he's got like, try to like force him to have like a top pair type hand. I'm gonna donk lead here on this board. This nails us, and 8's is vulnerable. We could check call as well. We could check raise too. But we're going to be working in some bluffs in that spot. Like, I'm donk leading there with a lot of air as well when I miss. So I do like to mix in some actual hands that are donk leading for the purposes of balance, which, to be argued in these games, maybe isn't as important as people think it is. Like, these player pools are incredibly underbluffed by a landslide. Like nobody in these pools is bluffing anywhere near as much as they should be. Because nobody's like exploitively folding bottom set to some of these complete absolute nits on this site. Nobody's doing that. They're still calling off bottom set. So, and rightfully so. And so you don't have to balance. If you're like one of those top guys who just nut pedals, which they do, you don't even have to balance, because the guys that you're playing against at these stakes aren't smart enough to know how to exploit you if you're not balancing. Like, a strong player will know that he's got to make a fold to you whenever you bet in that spot, because he knows you're never bluffing. You just have 0 bluffs. But weak players, they don't do that. They say they get married to their absolute hand strength. They say, oh, I have 2 pair, I have a set, or I have top pair, top kicker, or I have a straight. And they say, how can I fold this? And I can't. And they call or raise or whatever, and they lose because their opponents are nut peddlers. They don't make that exploitive fold, which is what you're supposed to do. And like 90% of these guys aren't balanced. They're all like GTO. They all claim they're GTO wizards and this and that. And every single one of them is deviating from GTO for the most part. And GTO is only good if you're playing against other players that are also playing good GTO, right? Because if you're trying to play GTO against a guy that's not playing proper opening ranges or 3-betting ranges and stuff like that, not balancing his checkbacks and all that, and you're not making exploitive folds versus those guys because you're playing GTO, like, oh, I'm supposed to call here. You're not supposed to call there. The guy's not bluffing enough because he's not calling a proper GTO range, for example. Anyway, complicated stuff. I don't want to get into it. It annoys me to think about. And we're just going to jack it up here versus Crazy Cam. We're going to try to target an ace. I expect him to call 1 if he does have an ace. Maybe 2. He does call. And is he okay? All right. And again, like, I think he's gonna fold here quite a bit. So I'm tempted to. I think he could have 6s some of the time too. But I'm tempted to check back here now and go for a raise on river. It's a horrible river, by the way. Terrible river card. Bringing in the flush, bringing in a straight, which is going to be very, very difficult for him to have a straight. But he could have 2 10s too. And I think now we come in for an overbet. Obviously, we're snap folding to an overbet if he to a raise if he raises. But I'm going to try to make it look like I'm trying to rep spades, and I know that he's got an ace. And yeah, we're just going to try to make it look bluffy. All right, he doesn't call, so whatever. At least we almost got a river bet out of him, perhaps. I'm going to bet big here. This board is already pretty ugly, and it can get a lot uglier, right? Any jack, queen, or club just kills our action entirely. Or not kills our action, actually. Kills the hand. Like, we probably lose on any of those. So, might as well just start building it here and target, like, pair with flush draw type hands or pair with straight draw type hands. Stuff like that. All right, we're going to wrap this up. Again, not much happened this session. Like discussed, the hands, the few hands that we did get were against very good players that weren't giving us any action back. So, welcome to the online world in 2024. Pokerstars, GG Poker, you guys got to do something about this. I don't know what you got to do to get players online again, but you gotta do something different. All right, do something different. All these recreational players, for all you pros out there who don't know about these games, all of the weak players who are playing relatively close to an online game are playing on the Poker Bros app. That's where they are going. Yeah, that's where they're going. So let that sink for a second, because I know you know what that means. That's where they're going. That's where all the real rec players are that you guys prey on. And they don't play in your games for a reason. So I want you to think about why that is. I've talked about it before in some of my other videos. Anyway, we are going to wrap this up. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you later.